Sleep tight, my beloved. You're my ticket out of this hellhole.
Homer!
Sorry. Our ticket out of this hellhole.
Show them the money. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 controversial ways to make money. For this list, we're looking at money-making methods that are disputed, and fire up arguments among many for their controversial nature. We're excluding illegal ways of making money, and are only discussing ways that are legal in at least one part of the world, and do not give reason for prosecution or a criminal record as a result.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you f***ing pricks move! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
Just to be clear, we're not saying we agree with these methods, though we can understand why some are deemed controversial.
1, 2, 3!
Number 10. Bounty hunting.
You gotta think like a criminal.
You know that you have more heart and more courage than anybody else out there because the people that you're chasing are absolute animals.
Whether you're someone who hasn't shown up to court, has breached bail conditions, or you're an on-the-loose criminal, watch out, because a bounty hunter may be on your tail. If you don't think that alone sounds controversial, then think about this. A bounty hunter will literally do anything possible to catch the person they're after. Hired to seize fugitives for financial compensation, some have the authority to carry weapons, use dangerous force, and even break into homes. After all, these bail recovery agents only get paid once they've caught their target, so often they'll do what they gotta do to get the job done.
I'm gonna take you! Knock it off! I have a lawyer. I don't care, I'm gonna take you! I know, Anthony, take my phone. Take my phone and call my dad.
Number 9. Derivatives trading.
Ron is head of derivatives trading in London.
This makes me your boss, Nick.
Putting value on an asset today and agreeing to sell or buy it at that price at a later date is always a risk, and increasingly commonplace. But what makes derivatives trading controversial is in the speculation or shorting. By speculating, a trader anticipates or artificially drives up the price of the underlying asset, selling it for a gain in the future.
Basically, futures are contracts that obligate the buyer to buy an asset and the seller to sell the asset at a predetermined future date and price.
When shorting, you sell an asset you don't currently own, hoping the price falls only to buy it later, earning a retroactive profit, and thus raising moral questions. However, when going long, you buy the underlying asset and your losses are capped by the price of the asset. But if you think the price will drop and short the asset and you bet wrong, then your potential losses are infinite.
They've lost 800 million quid.
My losses were nowhere near that, it was more like 300.
The Librarians didn't do anything Friday, did they? So that now the word's out and the market's crashed.
Bloody idiots.
Number 8. Marijuana dispensaries.
2 words for you, bro. Medical marijuana.
The possession of marijuana isn't usually legal unless it's been prescribed for medical reasons.
Your bag was confiscated. It had paraphernalia in it. Marijuana pipe.
Well, that's a medical apparatus. I have glaucoma.
So, when the drug has been okayed for various symptoms, where do you get it from? The trusted marijuana dispensary, of course. These offices are set up to sell medical cannabis in various forms, including drinks, smoothies, and more. But these dispensaries irritate a fair amount of people, as there are sometimes no limits on how much marijuana patients are allowed. There's also that fear that users may abuse their legal allocation of a substance that isn't entirely legal everywhere.
And it's always super dank, very crystally, easy to smoke with, great for sleep and body pain.
Number 7. Lobbyists.
Can't anyone just do that?
No, it requires a moral flexibility that goes beyond most people.
Politics is controversial enough as it is, so throw a lobbyist into the mix and the result may not go down well with the public. A lobbyist is someone who tries to influence the government and its political decisions. This is done by spending hours researching and writing arguments in accordance with his or her interests, or the causes he or she has been hired to lobby for. In short, professional lobbyists essentially receive a whole heap of cash for pressuring legislators into passing certain bills or adopting new ways.
I would take Congressmen to Scotland to play golf on a Gulf Stream, stay at St. Andrews, and those were usually six-figure trips.
As such, many argue that some lobbyists don't even care about what they're advocating and are only in it for the money. Go figure.
You're a lobbyist. Your job is to be right. And you're the best at what you do. You're the Sultan of Spin.
Number 6. Stripping. Some people consider paying to see someone slowly but surely get down to their birthday suit as sleazy or downright dirty, and others go further, qualifying the act as cheating.
So I've got handcuffs, got your baby oil, very popular that. You've got like your whips,
This is my latex, but bloody hell is it hard to get on and off.
Ranging from live shows to online webcam models, strippers and exotic dancers everywhere have people spending their hard-earned cash so they can get a few minutes of naked glory and lap dances. Stripping as a profession is also controversial because performers can be treated like objects that are expected to follow the commands of their client, which can lead to the mistreatment and abuse of the dancers.
We're getting married this weekend to Melissa.
You love Melissa?
Oh, very much.
Go home to her.
Number 5. Sperm Banks.
Your sperm is of a very high quality.
Thank you. I'm sure your sperm is also high-end.
These facilities are places that store sperm that's been donated by men for use by women who want to become pregnant.
Oh, God, I think I feel them moving.
While sperm banks have helped many women unable to have babies by traditional ways, there are critics who believe these enterprises disrupt the ideal of the family model and use screening methods for their donors that could be considered discriminatory.
And then had asked me if I had requested an African-American donor. And at that point, I said no. 380 was blonde-haired, blue-eyed.
Some also take issue with the fact that donors will end up fathering kids whose lives they'll never be a part of or want to be a part of, while others are afraid of the passing of diseases or other unfavorable traits to potential offspring.
You are the biological father of 533 children.
Number 4. Gambling.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Do you think that putting your money on the line for the odd chance you'll win more is always a harmless thing to do?
I think you should calm down.
I think you should go over there and count something. Give me my chips. And I want $1,000 chips. Hurry up. I just want to be treated fairly. Is that too much to ask?
No. People can become overly frustrated, addicted, angry, or depressed when they constantly lose their dough. And gambling institutions know it, so they try to cash in on it.
Most gamblers, when they go to gamble, they go to win. When we go to gamble, we go to lose, subconsciously. Me, I never feel better or more alive than when they're raking the chips away.
Some people even resort to gambling money, items, or assets they don't even have, or aren't even theirs. So, while it is an easy way to make money and requires none of those hard hours at work in an office or another job that requires effort, you're probably more likely to lose big rather than win big. Gambling is a risky business all around, and unfortunately, it doesn't always result in a happy ending, which only adds to its controversial status.
Followed by kidnapped. Further back in the field, the finish was La Rocket.
Number 3. Surrogacy.
I'll do it. I'll be your surrogate.
When a woman is unable to carry a growing baby in her womb, or there is no woman in the relationship at all, a surrogate can step in.
Surrogates and their partners are screened for infectious diseases, for drug use. We also do physical exams on the surrogates to make sure that they are healthy.
Yes, an agreement where a woman carries a pregnancy for another set of parents gives the opportunity to people who can't bear babies to have kids.
I know it's a lot to digest, but my partner and I cannot have a child the traditional way, and Goldie here wants to carry ours for us.
However, it's been argued that surrogates are much more prone to depression and anxiety due to the constant strain on their bodies. There's also the potential struggle to surrender the baby when it's born if the surrogate appears to have formed a connection with the fetus.
I haven't had too many breakdowns yet, but I'm starting to get emotional knowing that they're going home. That's gonna be hard.
A further question that continues to be raised regarding surrogacy is whether or not women should use their bodies to generate income at all.
Can I tell you a little secret? Yeah. I want to keep one.
Number 2. Clinical trials and medical testing.
Yeah, but aren't those experiments dangerous? You get a few side effects.
Those is?
Ow, not so loud!
While it may seem like the quickest way to solve financial worries, undergoing medical testing for various products, medication, and so forth can also cause you harsh and unexpected long-term effects.
2 guys fell into a coma after one of these trials. You know that, don't you?
Oh, you can't stand the heat?
What, go into a coma?
Since clinical trials are experiments, participants are willingly allowing themselves to be tested, used, and studied. But the outcomes of such tests are usually unknown.
Donate one of your testicles, they replace it with an artificial one, and when you check out after 14 days, you get a check for $35,000.
As such, a volunteer or patient may be risking health conditions, physical defects, or permanent damage, and that's where the controversial part comes in. While you are getting paid to do it, some people wonder if potentially putting your health in danger to make ends meet is really worth it.
That appetite suppressant is amazing.
Homer, you really have no desire to eat that food?
Food? I'm blind!
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Here's the deal. Fork over the cash, and they're promising to write custom papers. This is for high school or college students.
Beat it. with my crop until you submit to me, you filthy peasant.
Now what do you think?
You know what I think, Ron? I think that was a sales call. Good job, buddy.
So you're going to buy a subscription?
No, I already get the Times.
Number 1, pornography.
Oh, yeah, you like it nasty, don't you?
Oh, I do. I'm sorry. Guilty as charged.
Don't know what porn is? We do not recommend Googling it. Porn is the capturing of erotic or sexual behavior in one of many forms, whether it's on the internet, in a magazine, or various multimedia formats, for the use of sexual arousal. Whether people agree with it or not, the industry is undeniably huge, and there is certainly a market for it.
Andy, for the last time, I don't want your giant box of pornography.
No, come on, man. So uncool.
Critics call pornography dirty, sleazy, sick, or unacceptable. It also raises questions about whether the actors really even consent to take part, and whether its consumption brainwashes people into false ideas about what the standards in the bedroom are.
Don't make me feel weird because I like porn. You're the weird one for not liking porn. I'm normal as shit.
Peeing on people? That's normal?
On the flip side, porn can be used to spice up people's sex lives at home, at sperm banks, and for many other reasons. But considering its subject matter, despite the slowly changing views of sex in modern times, it's not surprising that working in porn remains controversial today.
Ralphie, let me ask, do you watch porn?
Does Ralphie? We seem to have a consensus here.
Hell yeah.
Do you agree with our list?
I was hoping for something a little more inspiring, but at least you're thinking.
What way of making money don't you quite agree with? For more controversial top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Welcome to the Crazy Club, kid.